we so much appreciate your being here as we celebrate our greatness, as we celebrate on this Riverwalk, which is one of the finest, if not the finest in the country, surpassing all of them, including the San Antonio and all of the others, on this great Riverwalk, to celebrate our history, to celebrate the people who have made us what we are, who have brought us our strength and our uniqueness and our diversity. And this, in my opinion, and I'm a tad on the prejudice side, having been here for 43 years, but I think this is the greatest place on the planet, the Tampa Bay area itself. And you've got a lot of people who are here that are making it better. And today we're going to celebrate the people who have brought us to where we are, some of the people who have brought us to where we are. And what better way to celebrate than having these people forever enshrined here on this great Riverwalk. And the other thing about this, and I was mentioning to Rodney Kite Powell, I looked through all of these biographies on the people that we're celebrating today, and you're going to learn a little about history here. I thought I was pretty steeped in history of the Tampa Bay area, but not so after I read this. It's really incredible. But I see we also have former Mayor Dick Greco here somewhere in the audience. Right here he is, back in the back. And I'd like to read a letter from Sandy Merman, who couldn't be here, to Steve Anderson. Please accept my most sincere apologies for not being able to join you for the unveiling of the class of 2014 honorees of the Historic Monument Trail. I was certainly looking forward to helping the mayor and you show the world this year's beautiful monuments, but the commission called a special meeting on this date, and as chair, I must be there. Please also accept my congratulations on yet another outstanding year for Friends of the Riverwalk and the continuing success of the Historical Monument Trail. This project has brought much pride to this entire community and awareness of our deep and rich history and a recognition of the people who made this community what it is today. The project has been a model for the county's historical preservation program, and the commission enthusiastically supports it. And finally, I want to congratulate the families and the supporters of the 6 honorees. The sacrifices and deeds of your honored ones are now memorialized beautifully forever, and how proud you deserve to be. And that's from Sandra Merman, the chairman of the Hillsborough County Commission.
We have Councilman Gary Cohn here, Appraiser Hernandez.
Mr. Who we got here, Chris?
Mr. Hernandez, a property appraiser. Mr. Hernandez.
Oh, Mr. Hernandez, our property appraiser. I thought I saw Harry Cohen. Yeah, there's Harry Cohen right over here, Councilman. And where's Hernandez, our property appraiser? Back over yonder here. Here we go. I want to thank them. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there's a guy who knows something about our history here in the Tampa Bay area for certain. And at this time, I want to introduce the guy who has done so much for our Riverwalk and who has done so much work on bringing us to the point we are today in honoring all of these people who are so important in our past. And that would be the guy who is the head of the Friends of the Riverwalk, Steve Anderson. Come on down, Steve.
Thanks, Jack, and thank all of you so much for coming. It's beautiful to see you here in this beautiful setting. Yeah, today we're celebrating the 3rd unveiling of monuments honoring the 6 outstanding Tampanians who made Tampa what it is today. So this is the 3rd set. This is an event that's been 10 years in the making, and seeing the crowd and seeing the results of our efforts makes it all worthwhile. And over the 10 years that I've been working on this project, I've marveled, frankly, every year I've learned so much about the 6 honorees, and I've marveled at the courage, the sacrifice, the perseverance that these people have shown, the guts that these people have shown, and the things they went through. It's truly an inspiration, and I know these people were inspirations to the people around them when they were alive. And we'll have a little flyover. Now, these monuments are especially important to you, I know. The family, the friends, the people that are supporting them. And I know that some of you have traveled great distances to be here. I know that we have people here from California, New York. We have a couple of ladies from Spain who came here. We're so honored to have you with us today. And it's indicative of the pride and the significance of these memorials to this community and to the families that you've come that distance. It warms my heart when I see the emotion and the pride that the families and the friends of these honorees show at these events. Now it's my duty and my pleasure to thank a few people who really work behind the scenes to make this happen. I can't say enough about the tremendous efforts of a young lawyer I work with, Eric Nowak, and my assistant, Chris Castellano, and Lee Hoffman of the city, who really have worked and helped me tremendously in making this happen, and they do this every single year. I'd also like to thank Gio Ruiz and the Beck Group, and they are voluntarily manufacturing or making the foundations that each of these 6 will sit on permanently as a community effort. And if we would, let's give all of these volunteers a big round of applause. I also want to recognize the members of the Friends of the Riverwalk. We are a volunteer 501c3 organization. Nobody gets paid for the work that we do, and I'm so proud to have several of my board members here today. Also, the selection committee, as you know, there are 9 historians who select these people, and I want to tell you there's no politics involved. This group is extremely independent and extremely proud of what they do. We don't let money get in the way. We don't let politics get in the way. It is strictly based on merit, and they do a great job, and I'm so proud of them for doing that. And they'll be introduced to you in a little while. I want to thank Rick Hamilton and the folks here at the Convention Center for doing their normally outstanding job in accommodating us. Special thanks to Tommy Touched, and I saw Tommy here. I don't know if CJ Roberts is here, but Tommy Touchton's here, who's the guy who really made the History Center here in Tampa happen. And I want to say Tommy was a great inspiration to me when I decided to do this. And the History Center, I hope you all get a chance to visit there frequently because it's a real asset to this community, and they have been such a help to me over the years. So in a few minutes, we're going to show you the 6 honorees. A few notes of interest for those of you who don't know, and I'll go through this quickly, but I think it'd be helpful or interesting for you to know that it takes more than a year to bring each one of these to fruition. The committee has to meet and deliberate, and quite often that takes a long time because there are so many opportunities. Then we do research on the backgrounds and the biographies of these people. Then we develop artwork. We get pictures if they're available, renderings, sketches, whatever's available so that our artists can make these monuments look as real as close to what the people actually look like as possible. The pedestals that each one of these busts sits on is solid granite. Each pedestal weighs about 2,000 pounds. They're not going anywhere. Each one is formed and brought to us by Mark Noggle with the Stuart Mellon Company here in Tampa, and they take a lot of pride in what they do. The bronze busts that you'll see are the incredible artwork of our artist Steve Dickey. And Steve does a phenomenal job, and he just really does a great job. Both of those gentlemen put a lot more care and love into this product than the fees that they are paid, and we're just very indebted to them. Each monument represents as close to the actual height of the honoree as we could estimate. And a lot of you have gotten phone calls from us look up your records. How tall was he or how tall was she? As you'll see, height, size makes very little when it comes to what's in the heart. And it makes very little difference as to who's a leader and who makes things happen. I do want to thank, lastly, because these things don't just materialize out of air. A lot of people contribute, a lot of private donations to make these things happen. And I specifically and particularly want to thank Bright House Networks for their continued sponsorship and assistance of us. The host committee of the 2012 National Republican Convention is a significant contributor, and the biggest contributor has been Hillsborough County itself. We were honored to have been awarded or recognized as a significant historical tourism event or factor here in Hillsborough County, and the Board of County Commissioners has been extremely helpful in providing some matching funds for us. So there are others, but those are the ones I wanted to particularly thank today. Two of our commissioners, the chairman, Sandy Merriman, and Victor Christ, wanted to be here, but they had a meeting that was scheduled at the last minute. So that's a little bit of facts. You're going to get to see the real thing in a few minutes. And I hope that those of you from out of town will go back and tell everybody what a wonderful place Tampa is and what a great river walk we have. Tampa is, in fact, an incredible city. We're very fortunate that this incredible city has a great mayor. One of the many attributes that I like most about this mayor is that he does, in fact, respect the lessons that were taught by history, and that he has a true devotion and loving and appreciation for the people that have come before him in his leadership role. And I'm proud of the fact that this mayor has attended every one of these unveilings, and I know that he really does feel very strongly about recognizing the great leaders of this, the builders of this community who have brought us to where he can be today. So I'm proud that he's here, and I want you to help me welcome a great mayor, Mayor Bob Buckhorn.
Steve, thank you, and I am surely not deserving of those accolades, but since my 9-year-old thinks I'm a doofus, and my 13-year-old thinks I'm dumber than a bag of rocks, I'll take them. To all of you that are here today, first of all, let me say welcome. It's great to see former Mayor Greco, one of the many individuals upon whose shoulders that I stand and this community stands. And every time I come here for one of these events, particularly at this venue, and I look and I see how this city has changed, and I see the transformation, certainly over the last couple years, of what is a great American city as we turn that page in our history and we start a new chapter in what is emerging as one of the most exciting places in America. And I see how this skyline has changed, and I see people like E.J. Salcinas, and I see folks like the White family. And I think about how blessed I am as mayor of the 53rd largest city in America to stand here in the presence of people who came before us, who gave me the opportunity to take this city to the next level, who, in spite of difficult challenges, during times and places in this community when things weren't easy, when things weren't fair, when things weren't right, they persevered. And they kept on pushing. And they kept believing. And they kept recognizing that as parents and as community leaders, we have one simple moral obligation. And that is to leave our community in better shape than it was given to us. Each of the honorees, in their own way, shape, and form, have left this city better because of the time that they spent walking on this earth. Everything that we do now is built on that simple foundation. It is built on the contributions of hundreds of thousands of folks who came before us, immigrants who came here with nothing but the shirt on their back, families who came here not by their choice, Tampanians all, believing in what this place could be, and always recognizing that they had to pass that torch to a future generation, and pass that torch brighter and stronger and more powerful than it was given to them. We are who we are because of these people. We are who we are because of the other 2 rounds of honorees. We are who we are because people sacrificed for us. We have an obligation somewhere down the road that they say about this generation, that they paid the same price, they were willing to give as much, they believed it was not about them, but it was about us. That is what this represents. And they will be forever embodied and remembered as they should be. White, black, Hispanic, Jewish, Christian, it didn't matter. What mattered was Tampa. What mattered was their families. What mattered is that they believed in something bigger than just themselves. We are lucky to follow in the footsteps of some amazing Tampanians. We will forever be grateful, and they will be forever honored. Thank you to the families for being here. This is our opportunity to say thank you to your mothers and your fathers and your grandfathers and your grandmothers. It is the least that we can do. Because someday my 2 little girls are going to say to me, "Daddy, what did you do?" And I would be lucky if I did as much as they did. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, Mayor. We are fortunate to have Bob Buckhorn as a mayor. He has to be the only guy who loves this place more than I think, and has certainly, that's been his ambition for so many years to be able to, he loves this place. Nobody loves it like he, I don't think. Well, maybe EJ and a few others. I don't know, been around here for a while. But we are fortunate to have somebody who not only loves it, but is getting so many things done, making so many things happen. I just do want to mention one thing quickly about our Riverwalk, because the consummate Riverwalk, the one that's mentioned when people say Riverwalks in America, people think San Antonio. I don't know how many of you have been to San Antonio. They got a nice Riverwalk and everything, but it's nothing like that when you consider, first of all, where it's going to end up eventually, but because we're really only, well, we're more than half begun by sure, but there's so much to see, so much to do along our Riverwalk as compared to any other in America. This is, I think, the finest in America by a long shot. And it's great to have it as an asset and to enable us to take advantage of one of our great assets, and that being this river. At this time, I'd like to bring the guy who did some of the heavy lifting in getting information about these great people and who does so much to preserve the history and to make history available to all of us from the Tampa Bay History Center. Rodney Kite Powell, come on down.
Thank you, Jack, and thank you all for braving our bitterly cold Florida winter, for coming here and honoring these 6 individuals. Jack mentioned that I'm one of the people who helps decide who we honor, but I am just one of 8 lucky enough to do that. So before we get on with the nominees or the honorees here, I want to mention the individuals who serve alongside me on the Historic Selection Committee. Jack Fernandez, Manny Leto, Fred Hearns, Doris Weatherford, E.J. Salsinas, Andy Hughes, and Robert Kirstein all take on the task along with me of deciding who is going to be honored each time we do this. And it is no easy task. As you've heard already, and as you of course already know, we have a city with an incredibly rich history. We have a recorded history that goes back 500 years, and of course a prehistory, which we honored in the first round, that goes back thousands of years. And so there are, of course, a lot of people who are very deserving of this honor. And as long as Steve can keep raising money, we will keep honoring them. So there'll be a little donation box at the end so y'all can put your money in. So with that, I think we want to go ahead and do what y'all are here to do, and other than drink coffee and stay warm, and that is honor our next 6 honorees here. So where'd my guys go? Oh, there we go. So in alphabetical order, we will start this. Y'all ready? I assume. Alrighty, the first one is Blanche Armwood. Hillsborough County native Blanche Armwood graduated high school at the age of 12. Though she earned eligibility at that time to teach in Florida's African American schools, she went to college instead and graduated from college at age 16. Armwood then taught for 7 years and began promoting what was then called household arts schools for cooks and housewives of the Negro race. Hang on. Love having a hospital on the waterfront. Her pursuit led her to teach the new subject of home economics all over the United States. In the early 1920s, she was among the founders of Tampa's Urban League and was one of only a handful of women to serve in a leadership role. She also became head of Hillsborough County's Black Schools, which was a position virtually created for her. In 1937, Armwood earned a law degree with honors from Howard University. A writer at the time predicted that she would have a brilliant legal and political career, but her life unfortunately was cut short. Armwood passed away 2 years later at the age of 49. Hillsborough County's Armwood High School is named in her honor. So, Blanche Armwood. Next up is Herman Glagowski. A 4-term mayor of Tampa and the city's first Jewish mayor, German immigrant Herman Glagowski played a significant role in the growth of Tampa during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. During his first term as mayor, the Tampa Fire Department was organized, with Glagowski serving as its treasurer. During his second term, Glagowski played a major role in securing the construction of Henry Plant's Tampa Bay Hotel. Other important accomplishments during his time in office included the completion of a new city hall, though not to be confused with today's historic city hall, the establishment of Tampa's first telephone system, and the transition of the city's street railway system from steam power to electrical power. In addition to his public service, he was a member of the Board of Trade, first president of the German American Club, and was a leader of the Masonic Lodge. Glagowski also was a founding member of Shir Zedek, Tampa's first synagogue, and during his term as president, work began on the construction of their temple. Glagowski's life also was cut short, and he died in a carriage accident in 1909 at the age of 55. Herman Glagowski. Next up, Gavino Gutierrez. Born in Spain in 1849, young Gavino Gutierrez sailed to Cuba and eventually to New York City, where he began studies to become a civil engineer. In 1884, he traveled to Tampa with his friend Bernardino Gargol to scout the town as a possible site for a guava processing plant, and then continued to Key West, where he met cigar magnates Vicente Martinez Ybor and Ignacio Aya. The cigar industry in Key West had been troubled by labor unrest, and producers sought a new location. Gutierrez suggested Tampa, and Martinez Ybor hired him as his architect and foreman. He surveyed land east of Tampa for the site that would become Ybor City. Construction began in 1885, and Martinez Ybor and Aya's factories opened the following year. Gutierrez was appointed Spanish consul in Tampa and built his namesake building at 1603 East 7th Avenue. He also founded the Spanish Park on his own residential property east of Ybor City, which included a racetrack and a casino. One of his daughters, Aurora, married Donald B. McKay, owner and editor of the Tampa Daily Times and future 4-term mayor of Tampa. Gutierrez died in Spain in 1919 at the age of 70. Gavino Gutierrez. Y'all just can't get up. You have to stay for the rest of it. Bina Wolf Moss. Philabina Bina Wolf Moss was an important presence in Tampa's business and charity communities. She and her husband, Abe, co-founded Tampa's longtime department store, Moss Brothers. For decades, the store was one of the most successful and well-known in the region. The German-born Moss was president of the non-denominational children's home for 25 years. The children's home was created in 1892 to provide care for abandoned babies in an era when unwed mothers, some as young as 13, left infants at churches and on doorsteps. Under her leadership, the children's home joined with 4 other charities to create the Community Chest. The Community Chest united several charities in asking businesses and residents for a single annual donation and coordinated their charitable efforts. Moss also was a charter member of Congregation Sher Zedek. As Hitler rose to power in Germany during the 1930s, Bina and Abe, helped bring their own families as well as many other Jews to safety in America. Moss passed away at the age of 84 after more than half a century of leading important community causes. Bina Moss. Alrighty, next up is Hugh Campbell McFarland. Hugh Campbell McFarland, attorney and businessman, was an important leader in the development of Tampa. Generally regarded as the founder of the city of West Tampa, he and his partners brought the first cigar factory to West Tampa in 1892. McFarland donated a large park to the citizens of West Tampa, and the park and the public school across the street are named in his honor. McFarland helped fund the Fortune Street Bridge, a streetcar line, and encouraged the location of additional cigar factories and businesses in West Tampa. The 2 main streets of West Tampa were named after family members, son Howard and wife Frances. Frances Street is now Albany, named for Francis Pettingill McFarland, who owned a book and stationery store. West Tampa was annexed into the city of Tampa in 1925. McFarland served as the first city attorney for both the city of Tampa and the city of West Tampa, and also served a short term as the state attorney for this circuit. McFarland also founded a prominent law firm which is still in business today as McFarland, Ferguson, and McMullen. McFarland died at the age of 84 in 1935. Hugh McFarland. And the 6th honoree is Moses White. By his mid-40s, Moses White was already known as the mayor of Central Avenue because of his prowess as a businessman, community leader, and philanthropist. He moved to Tampa from his native Georgia in 1943 at the age of 28 and opened several businesses: the Palm Dinette, Deluxe Cozy Corner, Club Royales, the Flamingo Rooming House, and even in Tenochtitlan, the Midway Dance Land. White created a credit card system that allowed men stationed at MacDill Air Force Base to eat and drink between paydays. He became a successful entertainment and sports promoter, bringing to Tampa such stars as Duke Ellington, Sam Cooke, Etta James, Jackie Wilson, James Brown, B.B. King, and Bobby Blue Bland. White also promoted the Florida A&M University of Tampa football game in Tampa in 1969, the state's first contest between a historically black college and a predominantly white one. He served on Tampa's biracial committee and helped restore peace in June 1967 during Tampa's racial unrest. Moses received Tampa's Human Rights Award in 1976. He died in 1984 at the age of 69. Moses White. This year's 6 honorees. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much, Rodney. Rodney Kite Powell, and of course the members of the selection committee, and what a great job you've done. And I found this fascinating. I mean, hearing about these people, I was fortunate enough to be able to have known Moses and all the great things that he did around here, but the one that kind of surprised me, I'm a major aficionado and lover of Ybor City and all things Ybor because it's such a unique feature that gives Tampa so much character, the great history of there. And I wasn't even familiar with Gavina Gutierrez, which I can't believe it, because when you look at what he did, that's why Ybor City is here now, which is amazing. But this city has so many great dynamics and so many great facets. It's just great that we're able to honor the people who brought us to where we are today. I want to mention we got a councilman, Mike Suarez is here somewhere. Hey, here he is, over in the end. Got himself a seat as well. Good job. I do want to point out, first of all, the Friends of the Riverwalk are the ones who have made this happen, who have come up with this great idea. Steve Anderson and the people that work with him. We're going to have press thumb drives and maps that'll show the locations of all 18 monuments, and they can be picked up from Chris Castellano over here. Where's Chris? Right here he is. Chris is the hardworking guy that put all this together here, I think. And the 2015 class of honorees are going to be unveiled next December, and you're invited to come back and be a part of that. We might have to move it to Raymond James Stadium if the crowd continues to grow like this. But we would like to invite you all, media, guests, family members, friends of the honorees, to stay here, take pictures, inspect the monuments up close, and the artist Steve Dickey is going to be available to answer any questions you might have as well. But again, it's interesting hearing we got Mayor Dick Greco, a 4-term guy, and these 2 other 4-term mayors. I think Bob Buckhorn's going to get some ideas here. But again, thank you all so much for being here, and enjoy the rest of the day, and we'll see you here again. We've got an appointment again, December of 2015, for the next class. Thank you so much.